Hello, hello, hello. My name is Larissa with Shanti Moves. Thank you for checking this space out if it's your first time. Today we're going to be going over Pigeon Pose, aka Ardha Kopatasana. So Pigeon Pose is a super yummy pose. It has a lot of awesome qualities to it, but also can be kind of tricky to figure out in the body in the beginning. So lots of different modifications for this one. I'll be going over those in the video, and if you're interested, come join me on the mat. So you've chosen to do Pigeon Pose with me. Thank you so much. Let's come to our tabletop to start. So hands underneath the shoulders, fingers are spread nice and wide. Knees are underneath the hips at hip width distance. Take a moment here to just ground down through your tabletop. So maybe press through the hands, press through the tops of the feet. And then on your next inhale, take that left leg, extend it behind. And on the exhale, bend the knee, bring it over to the left ankle, left wrist, sorry. Extend the right leg, coming up onto the toes, lifting the leg off the ground. And then walk the left foot over to the right side of your mat. Now drop the right knee, untuck those toes, and then slide the hips back and down. Maybe come up onto your fingertips here. Have a moment, look back at your back leg. Make sure it's nice and straight, it's not going all cattywampus. And then press through the top of that foot, so your gentle engagement of the back leg here. You can start to press down through the front leg as well, lifting through the hips a little bit, lengthening through the spine, through the crown of the head. Good. And then on your exhale, start to sink the hips, relaxing the arms, maybe grabbing a block here, placing it on the medium side. And then maybe you can bring the forearms to the block. Also welcome to stay here if that's what your hips are communicating with you today. But if you're taking the adventure with me, coming down onto your forearms, you can stay here. Or maybe coming onto the medium side of your block, coming down there. Or maybe you want to go all the way onto the mat, coming onto your forearms. Either way, no matter where you're at, you're just honoring your hips, because Pigeon Pose is a pose that takes time, right? We don't want to just rush and push ourselves into something that we're not ready for. Slow and steady is the key with any pose, but Pigeon Pose is especially one of those poses. Good. Now you can stay here, or if you feel comfortable, you can extend the arms all the way long. I personally like to stack one fist on top of the other, rest my head there. You can also use a block. There's so many options for our Pigeon Pose. Now, if you found like one of your hips is rolling off from one side to the other, you can grab a blanket, or if you want to use your block, you can place it underneath that hip, giving a little support there. Pigeon Pose is also one of those poses that we like to spend, a good 1 or 2 minutes in, because that gives the body enough time to feel into the pose and let go a little bit. So taking your time in your Pigeon Pose. Then when you're ready, lift the head up. Start to bring the hands underneath the shoulders. Tuck the back toe, lift the leg. Start to lift the hips as you push through the hands, coming back to downward dog. And you can pedal out the feet a little bit here, kind of bring some blood back into that leg. Good. Now with this side, I'm going to demonstrate how we come in from downward dog, because that's how a lot of teachers I see teaching it. So on your inhale, take your right leg back to a three-legged dog. Then on your exhale, bend the knee, bring it forward, place the knee down by your right wrist. Good. Now you can start to walk that right foot over to the side, dropping the left knee down, untucking those toes, and then slide the hips back. Another note here, I see a lot of people, or not a lot of people, flexible people who can bring their shin all the way parallel with the front of your mat. And some teachers teach it like this, but however, most people don't have that open hip, and I'm one of those people. So if you are like me, maybe keeping the heel a little bit closer to the groin. You can even keep it right under the groin if that's for you. Good. Or you can experiment maybe walking the foot forward, seeing how far you can take it forward before your hips are like, no more. So working at your own range of motion and working at your edge. Beautiful. So we've come into our pigeon. We found our range of motion with the shin. And then also making sure that these toes are flexing, are staying, a little bit of engagement here can help protect that knee. Good. So once you've found what you like, then you can either stay here, work here, if that's where your hips are telling you. If you want to take your block, come to the medium side, arms down. You can even place your elbows down and be like, nice and cozy. Or maybe you take it to the low side. Or maybe you take it all the way down to your mat. Again, taking note if the hips are rolling off to one side, placing your blankie or your block underneath that hip to keep the hips squaring and coming down at the same level at the same time. Now again, you can stack the fists to rest the forehead, or if you have another block, you can place the block underneath the forehead. Another one of my favorite things to do here, if you have some pillows or a bolster at home, this one is super, super nice. You can place the bolster underneath, kind of bring it into the belly, and then walk your hands down to drape the body over the bolster, and then maybe give it a little hug like it's a pillow. This is a super, super nice yin style pigeon pose. Really easy. I don't want to say easy. Easy is the wrong word, but it's a little bit more accessible to let go in your pigeon pose when you have that support underneath the belly. So in my experience, pigeon pose can be extremely uncomfortable in the beginning, or like there's a fidgetiness to it. It's hard to find stillness. So just taking your time and seeing what comes up for you in your pigeon pose, noticing those emotions, the sensations. Maybe you get frustrated. I definitely did in the beginning, but just allowing yourself to be there with those emotions and the breath. And yeah, welcome to pigeon pose. I hope that was helpful for you. If you'd like any more information or questions, please leave them in the comments below. Thank you so much for joining me. Until next time, namaste.